Let's do Nicole. Hello, other Nicole too. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I want to be mindful of all of your time and all of the energy and how much energy you have to put into the Zooms for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, whatever. So we are going to make this happen. And I want it to be engaging and fun. So we are going to use the Mentimeter tool. If you are not familiar with the Mentimeter tool, we're going to dive in that. But before we dive into that, I really, 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 really genuinely want to thank you. Thank you for clicking on signing up and registering. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Thank you for those of those who are in my life, for being in my life and just nurturing this, what we're building right now. So I am that yoga dude, and this is the Feel Free Social Emotional Wellness Program. So as we go to the next slide, we're going to start to learn a little bit more about what we're going to be doing today and learn a little bit more about us through our introductions. All right, so here's an agenda. Of course, when we're talking about education or any organization, we always need an agenda. So we're going to jump into the intros, and we're going to build out why SEL is what it is and where it is today, and why it's important. And then we're going to talk about BLM. Yep. And how BLM and peace can provide us with some resources to help our students, help our young ones, help us with educational wellness and educational learning through a social lens. I love it. So as we go through the next slide, I hope we're going to be smiling and laughing as much as those young people and as much as that old guy right there. That old man is me, that yoga dude. I am a marriage and family therapist, so I have my degree in sitting there and listening to people talk about their problems. I went to school just to be able to be certified to do that. And I also went to get more education to be able to stretch people out and tell them to breathe and move. And I got a degree in wearing yoga pants. So I'm formally trained and educated in providing those services for people. Also, I'm an author. So, quick story about me and the author. I've been doing this work for at least a decade, over a decade. And it was a huge part of me to be able to allow folks to get these skills and stuff that we're going to be going over, even when I'm not there. So I went to school, I did the yoga training, I was doing the work, and then I decided to move and go across the country and learn and just be a yoga instructor on the beach. And I had my whole plan all picked out. I had my whole yoga outfit picked out. I was ready to go. I had the suntan lotion on me and everything. But I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I can't just leave. I can't just leave the youth and the families that I was working with. I need to leave at least something for them. So me and my good friend, Bill Jackson, who happens to be an illustrator, wrote a children's book. So we have a children's book and we'll tell you some more about that. But that all started my journey into being an entrepreneur. Now that word is thrown around so much that I'm tired of saying it. I'm tired of hearing it. But it basically just means I don't want to work for nobody. I want to work for myself. But I can't wait to work for schools and organizations. But no, it really, the more I learned about the different skills and techniques that I was learning for myself, the more I really wanted to create an impact in the families and the youth. And being an entrepreneur gave me the greatest way to be able to do that. And it gave me a greater way to really become a compassionate community member. So before, I was just compassionate, but becoming interested in social emotional wellness, becoming interested in the youth and the families that we serve, I became compassionate because we know we can't do this work. We can't serve, we can't be parents, we can't be teachers, we can't be mentors, social workers without having a sense of compassion. Even though it can be burned out sometimes, we still have to put compassion in the work that we do. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. And I want to note that I was an average student. And I want to talk about, as we start to the next slide, how being an average student was something that helped me to see how to work with students who felt like they were average. No student is average. We're all amazing, exemplary, but being an average student had an effect on me that made me feel like I needed to be more. And that started to bring me into the work of being a self-work warrior, a self-work warrior. What does that mean? Do I carry around a spear and axe and everything about working on myself? No, it's about the gradual systematic steps that we take to make sure we are doing the best we can to serve our youth and that the youth have the skills to daily work on themselves for that emotional wellness and learning. As you see now on the screen, we're going to jump into some interaction here. www.mentee.com. So you can pull up a tab, boom, on your screen, or you can pull out your phone and put that website into your phone browser, and it's going to pull up this presentation either as another tab on your device or on your phone. So wherever you have a search bar, put in www.mentee.com. And then you're going to include the code 931586.4. Once again, go to mentee.com and go to 90 and insert the code. It's going to ask you for 931586.4. And I'm sorry, I know it's the end of the day. I know we're burnt out. I know we don't want to flip screens or do anything except sit here, but just a little bit of interaction hopefully can help us to do the work that we need to do to really provide some amazing skills for our youth. So once again, 931586.4. My little sister was born in 1993 and I was born in 1986. Why does that matter? It doesn't. I just wanted to say that. If you have any questions about jumping into the chat, does anybody have any struggles with it? Everybody got it? Raise a hand, put it in the chat if you need some more instructions as we go to the next slide. Let me know if you need anything. Cool, 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 cool. All right, we got a good quick question. We just want to make sure this whole Mentimeter thing works. Boom. What was the best part of 2020? Boom. It's done. It's over. I made it out. Or I had so many powerful lessons and grew beyond my wildest dreams. Man, I am strong. What is the best part of your 2020? What was the best part of your 2020? Just thinking about it. Now, we know 2020 is going to be a year that will go down in infamy. So many things happened in 2020, but what was the best part? Let's start looking at the best parts of 2020. I have some things on there, but I'm curious to see what is the best part of 2020 for you. And cool. If you have any issues or troubles working on getting this in there, let me know. But I think we got some results in. So as we press the S on the screen, it's going to pop up and show everybody what we were feeling. All right, okay. A lot of folks is feeling like we made it out, but so many of us grew. So many of us grew from 2020. I love it. So many lessons, so many powerful things. So as we develop systems and programs, I like to keep it focusing on the positive. How can we see the opportunities to grow out of the many adversities and many traumas that children go through? So good. Thank you so much. Thank you. As you go to the next slide, I want you to still just focus on what are you feeling right now? So what is your current level of stress right now? Just take a self-assessment. Take a second to think of what is your current level of stress right now. It could be 6:45 in the PM or 5:45 in the PM, wherever you are. Just let me know where your current level of stress is. And when we think about stress, we think about some of the hugest factors in making the decisions that we make. Okay, we kind of got some low stress in here. I love it. Now, some of y'all might have a glass of wine or something right next to you or whatever. It's all good. It's on Zoom. You can do what you do. Okay, cool. We got some low levels of stress in here. Awesome. Thank you. Everybody's chilling. As we go to the next slide, I just want you to, I want you to start to consider you showed up because of social emotional learning. You showed up because of education. You showed up because of our youth. I see you, Norma. What's your biggest concern for our youth? So as you go into the mentee screen, it's going to pop up and ask you some questions, but I really want to get to know. I shared a little bit about me and my concerns for youth, my background, being a therapist, working in the mental health field, working in the behavioral field. I saw a lot of things that I wanted for our kids. And a lot of my concerns were about them dealing with trauma. A lot of my concerns were about them being able to focus, them being able to concentrate, them being able to heal, to be able to deal with all of the things that they were being faced with in their life, especially things like 2020. So if you guys are you guys able to input into are you guys able to, there we go, we got some response. There we go, understand accountability, emotions, understanding. If somebody, whoever put understanding, if you would like to, if you can give me, you can turn your mic on and just give me a little bit more of what understanding means. Mental health, emotions, trauma, support, suicide, traumas, trauma and traumas, trauma on top of trauma, on top of trauma, on top of trauma. Open up and speak up, representation, lack of resources. Okay, understanding of life choices. Thank you. Perfect, Nicole Lacey. Suicide is huge. Mental health. We got some more coming in. Representation, support, lack of resources, peacefulness. I love it. Confidence. Yeah. Wear who they are. Like brand new pair of Jordans. Make them look good. Wear yourself. Wear it right. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, these are huge concerns. And this is across the board. These are concerns within schools, after school programs, within various different systems. It sounds like we all on the same page. We want our children to be mentally healthy. Now, as you see, mental health is the biggest image on there, the biggest word on there, because that's the largest concern that you guys have voiced right now. So that means multiple people have put in mental health. And we got traumas up there too. Lack of resources and emotions. All right, these are all skills and things that, of course, we know are not part of the XYZ curriculum. They're not part of what it takes to put on the SAT. I don't even do SAT anymore. I'm dating myself. They're not part of what it takes to get into a college. They're not part of what it takes to get a successful job. But as we go to the next slide, we're going to learn that it's everything. All right. So when schools attend systemically to social and emotional skills, the academic achievement of children increases by 48%. That's almost half. The incidence of problem behaviors decreases by 39%. So when we're talking about academic achievement, of course, we're talking about grades. We're talking about youth being able to go to college, go to the next grade level. And when we're talking about problem behaviors, we're talking about suspension rates, detention, we're talking about youth incarceration, we're talking about violence on campuses. That's huge. 39 driven down, incorporating these emotional and social skills. That is huge. Now, growing up in a time where the word bullying was there, but the word trauma wasn't there. It was there, but we didn't know what it was. And seeing some different things in school, 39%, if that was decreased with problem behaviors, I know a lot of young men who probably would still be alive right now and definitely out of jail. Under conditions of real or imagined threat or high anxiety, there's a 68% loss of focus and flexible problem solving. So we talked about decision making in that earlier slide. So they were talking about problem solving. I made a lot of dumb decisions under a lot of stress and duress. I still make a lot of decisions. I make a lot of decisions. To be able to reduce the amount of anxiety and stress so the youth can focus and solve problems. And I'm not just talking about academic problems here. I'm talking about the issue of little Johnny tapping on your shoulder trying to get you to smoke this weed. I'm talking about little Sally trying to get you to skip school. We're talking about the problems and the issues that a lot of our students face, but don't have a set of skills, don't have a set of techniques that they can use to make those decisions that will not impact them in a negative way and cause more trauma. Emotion is important in education because it drives attention. It drives memory. All right, we can remember the things that we have our attention on. But if our attention, of course, is on trauma, if our attention, of course, is on being afraid, on being wary of what can we do, what can't we do, it shifts us. All right, I know one student, he was so cool. Cool as a fan, always cool. Mr. Cool, what we call him all the time. And I was like, man, why are you so cool? He was like, I'm cool because whenever I act anxious or nervous in front of my parents, they yell at me, they scream at me. So I feel like if I'm always acting cool and like I'm not anxious or nervous, then everybody will leave me alone. Even my parents, even my friends. So he adopted this air of coolness that he was praised for, but it was really built out of pain. And as we go to the next slide, we can talk about some issues and some things that we can help him and a lot of our students who decide to deal or not deal with things by being cool, being on drugs, being the one making money. that also affect their education and how they perform academically. And some of the emotional areas that we get into is 6 areas right here: are social emotional learning benefits children in school, accepting and controlling emotions. I wanted him to accept that anxiety happens. It happens. It happens sometimes. And we're going to talk about using metacognitive activities. I love saying the word metacognitive because it makes me sound like I'm one of the Avengers or something like that. I have one of these cool words. I got a superpower. So I like saying metacognitive. We're going to talk more about what that means and what that looks like. Using activities that promote social interaction. So a lot of youth now, their social interaction is solely based on Fortnite and GTA and whatever other systems and video games and stuff that they are engaging in because, of course, COVID, and even before COVID, we said social interaction has been moved online, just like online shopping, just like online dating. Everything's online now, even social interaction. So we're going to talk about what that look like and how we can bring them together even online. Using activities that provide an emotional context. So a lot of me growing up where emotion was left out of everything that I had to do because it was that binary of emotion versus logic. And logic was higher than emotion in the aspect of getting things done and being accepted and being productive. So we want to heal those things and bring them together so we can talk about, hey, this emotion is going to help you perform. This emotion is going to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. We're going to talk about what that looks like as we also talk about addressing intense emotional stress in school. Woo. Now, when I was in school, of course there was stress and stuff, but now there's names and there's labels for the stresses that are being out there. I didn't know what depression was as a kid. I didn't know what the different gender identities were. I didn't know what school violence looked like outside of just, hey, there's a fight, let's all circle up. There was a lot of things I didn't know. And these youth are being exposed to everything, if not actually by us exposing them, they have the access to it online. So we're going to talk about addressing intense emotional stress in schools and giving them some of the vocabulary and most specifically the tools and techniques they can use to address this stress. And as we slowly move over, we're going to recognize the relationship between emotion and health. Huge component, emotion and health, physical health. We've seen before the pandemic, as they call it, the epidemic of youth obesity and high diabetes and even heart issues within youth. Lack of exercise, as well as lack of increased stress and anxiety, and how that had an effect on their physical as well as emotional health. So as we go to the next slide, I want y'all to think about BLM. Now, 2020, like I said, was a year. Now, 2020 probably was, 2020 definitely was a year that BLM blew up. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was moving on before that, but I'm going to talk today about my personal BLM. Now, mindfulness, physical practices, breath, laughter, and meditation. So we're talking about our students' lives matter. We're talking about education, and we're talking about making sure our youth have the things that they need to academically as well as behaviorally perform. I'm not getting political. I'm not moving anywhere near that. I just know when we think about BLM, we're thinking about a huge impact on 2020. And I want to kind of shift that. Not a political way at all, but I just want to shift it to help you to remember mindfulness, physical activity, breath and breathing, laughter and love, and meditation. All right. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into my personal BLM and how that can fit into our SEL. So if you're not familiar with all the different educational system stuff, it's a bunch of acronyms. SEL, if you didn't hear before, welcome to all of you who joined in. SEL is social emotional learning. And today, my personal BLM is mindfulness, physical practice, breath, laughter, and meditation. So we're going to dive in and jump in on the next slide. Mindfulness, social awareness, the ability to understand the perspectives of and empathize with others, including those from diverse backgrounds, cultures and contexts. This includes the capacities to feel compassion for others, understanding broader historical and social norms for behavior in different settings, and recognize family, school, and community resources. All right, we're gonna do a mindfulness activity. Y'all ready to do a mindfulness activity? Cool, cool, cool. If you're not familiar with TikTok, if you're not familiar with Instagram and stuff, there's a new challenge, a new trend, or whatever going on that is, tell me about you, or tell me what you do, or tell me who you are, what culture, whatever that you are, without telling me. So we're gonna go to a video real quick. We hope the video loads up, and even if it's just the first part, I want to show you a video of this trend. If you're familiar with the trend, just give me a thumbs up in the chat, or you can just put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with what I'm talking about with tell me that you're XYZ without telling me. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so hopefully the video can, cool. All right, tell us you're a crafter without actually telling us you are a crafter. I think you have to, boom, all right. So she shows all the crafting stuff. And I know, Miss White, you're familiar with the Cricut and the crafting stuff. So, all right, tell me you're a vegan without telling me you're a vegan. I have no idea what the nooch is because I'm not a vegan. Now, can you pause it real quick for me, please? All right, so the sound is off. I think you may have to unmute yourself, Allison. All right, let's see that.
From the Midwest.
See that? The icicles are melting. We don't need a jacket. We only got 2 bottles of.
All right, we're gonna go back, start this one. And I want everyone please to say hello and how you doing to Allison. Allison is the amazing Allison, and she just runs everything and makes everything work. So we're gonna start this over again with the sound, just so you guys can get it. And then we're gonna be doing this, all right? So I want you to think about how you can tell us what you do, whether it's your job or the interest that you have in working with you, without telling us. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna
Crafter without actually telling us you're a crafter. I'll go first.
I guess I have no idea what those are because I'm not a crafter.
Tell me you're vegan without telling me you're vegan.
I'll start.
I like pizza. I don't even know what nooch is.
Tell me you're from the Midwest without actually telling me you're from the Midwest.
See that? The icicles are melting. We don't need a jacket. We only got 2 bottles of ranch, and they ain't Hidden Valley. Excuse me, just gonna scoot past ya. Which flannel today? Oh yeah, there's gonna be a storm. Dad said there was a deer over here about an hour ago. Oh, my bad. Oh, hey, you want some Casey's pizza for supper? What do you want to do? I don't know. I'll just go to Walmart. Yeah, we can just walk around. Hey, babe, we need a garden hose. We're gonna have to go to Menards. Yeah, we'll just drive. It's only 15 hours. A little chilly. I think I'll wear a long sleeve. Oh my God, it's like 80. Is that hail? And there's the snow. You fell down? Rub some dirt on it. We don't go playing in the field. Your father just planted that. Oh man. Honey, we gotta get another pig.
Tell me you're an MCR fan without saying I'm an MCR fan.
Cool. So I hope you guys got the point. This is a mindfulness activity. So a lot of mindfulness leaks into social media and what we do, where it makes you think of a way of how you can express yourself and connect with other cultures without even using language. So in the first two, they did not even speak. They had the words up and they just used images and expressed themselves in a different way. So if you could all do me a favor, if you'd like to participate, tell me what you do without telling me what you do. So I'll go first. And I'm going to tell you what I do without telling you what I do. And I will show you my yoga mat. Show you my whiteboard. I'm a yoga teacher. All right, I teach yoga and I teach mindfulness and stuff. So it helps me to really figure out how I can communicate what I need to communicate without even having to without even having to express and say what I need to say. Let me just change my camera so I can do that. So if anyone would like to go and tell me what they do without telling me what they do. All right, and you guys can also drop it in the chat too. So when we talk about mindfulness and connecting it to social awareness, we're talking about bridging those gaps and giving children and youth their sense of awareness of themselves within a group. All right, so it's important that we start here because youth start to understand who they are in context of other people. I'm the nerd, I'm the jock, I'm the cool kid, I'm the rich kid, I'm the kid that do this and does that. I repeat myself more than the average person. I think that means you are a parent, Nicole. Good, awesome, awesome. So we hope to do these, we hope to work with the youth on the mindfulness activity that they already engage in, and we bring them to life with understanding mindfulness. So to be able to express yourself and connect with others without using words, it makes you look at yourself and it makes you reflect yourself. That is mindfulness. Mindfulness is checking off the areas that you are in. Mindfulness is taking an assessment of yourself. Mindfulness is connecting to yourself. Now, a lot of times when we put it on social media, we don't understand we're doing it, but anytime we have that ability to connect with ourselves, it brings about a sense of mindfulness. We have that social awareness. We identify who we are socially and where we are socially. It helps them to connect with each other. Like, okay, yes, I'm from here or you're from there or this, whatever. I have that identity, but at the end of the day, we're all here, we're all working on this together. So it's a social activity that we do, and we can do it online, just like we did it here, whether in chat or even on person and camera, and it helps them to connect using a social awareness mechanism. So just really quickly, if you can do me a favor and just drop the name of your high school within the chat. If you just drop the name of your high school within your chat, within the chat, and then we're going to move on to the next slide for me, please. Cool. And I know we heard the word mindfulness, and there's so many. Yes, the high school that you graduated from. That's a good question. Hey, what's up, Brian? Cool, cool, cool. All right.
What's going on, brother?
Yeah. March Mountain High School, Temecula Valley. Hey, Nicole. Awesome, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. So, self-management. So now that we have become aware of who we are socially, oh, I know I'm the kid that always is doing this. Hey, lever power. I'm the kid that's always doing that. So they have that sense of awareness within themselves socially. Now, how do they manage all that? How do they manage the movement? How do they manage how they show up socially? Am I wearing the right things? Am I saying the right things? These are being expressed physically. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through some postures. We're going to go through some poses that help them to manage themselves physically. And we're going to break that down as we get to it. So you can do this standing or you can do this sitting. But please join me along and do this. And hopefully you haven't already, well, more the merrier, but if you have not already had your yoga class or your movement or your exercise today, I know you walked around the block a couple times, Miss White. Well, we're going to get moving. We are going to get moving. So you can keep your camera off if you like, but if you want to, you can join us. We love to see everybody moving and smiling, but we are going to get moving. All right. So sitting down or standing up, one of the most important things for us to move within ourselves is first being able to move our breath. All right. So let's take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Cool. So I want you to stay with that breath as we move through the body. Shake it out, whatever you got, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. I know I like to work with the young kids and the older kids. They like to move and stay connected with their body. All right. So the first thing kids usually normalize and recognize is when they are tense and tight, they get tense and tight in their shoulders. The shoulders start to squeeze up under their ears. So we're going to start by working that out. And as an adult, you do the same thing. Whenever you read something crazy in the news, what you do? Whenever you get a wild text message, whenever you're seeing some traffic or some accident along the side of the road, you tense up, you just squeeze up and tighten. So we're gonna work on that tense, tight shoulders that you have and the weight of the world on your shoulders. So let's take 3 shoulder rolls here just to roll it out. On the count of 3, we're gonna start by bringing our shoulders up and then rolling them back and down. 1, 2, 3. Let's breathe and bring those shoulders up, squeeze them up underneath the ears. And then exhale, roll those shoulders back and down. Oof, feel good. My chest, my shoulders. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, bringing those shoulders up. And exhale, bringing it back and down. This time, let's take it really slow. I hear things cracking and popping. Inhale, shoulders roll, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, let them fall back and down. Good, 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 good. Now that I feel the blood rushing throughout my shoulders, now that I feel my body kind of waking up just a little bit more, I'm going to get into the real of this physical postures, being able to tune into my body. So sitting down or standing up, I want you to feel the bottom of your feet. I want you to feel your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders. I want you to feel your arms. It's really feeling into your body. Feeling your body is a part of that self-management experience for youth, because when they get angry, they feel it in their body. When they're sad, they're feeling in their body. When they're happy, they're feeling in their body. So to be able to connect those emotions to a physical expression that is also connected to their social environment is one of the biggest lessons they can learn, to be able to manage themselves. Are you angry? You want to punch the wall? What does that feel like? Are you happy? You want to jump up and run all over the place? Yeah, you can be happy and also focus on this work that you need to do. Teaching them how to manage and stay connected with their body helps them to achieve those academic goals, and it helps them achieve those behavioral goals. All right. Standing down and sitting, sitting or standing up, whatever works for you. We're just going to take it to the side. We want to stretch our whole body, make sure we get all that blood and the good stuff in our body, because like we said, that physical health aligns with the mental health and aligns with their performance. All right, so I'm going to take my left hand and just reach up into the sky. Left hand reaches up, and then I'm going to take it over to the right, stretching through my whole side body. We're working through glands, we're working through blood, we're working through muscle, we're just stretching our whole body. This helps me to get back on task in my tutoring session. This helps me to refocus after I've been jumping all around in my classroom. Take a breath in, slowly coming up. Good, and then exhale, drop that left hand down. We got a whole nother side. Let's bring that right hand up into the sky, stretch up, and then take it to the side. Now, some of us have not moved like this in years, and even our kids the same way. So we want to get their body engaged, to get them mentally engaged so they can stay connected and feel good with their bodies. Being able to feel good within their body, let's inhale, bring both hands up, reach up, stretch up to the top. Good. And I'm going to bring my arms back and down, stretching as I bring my chest up, stretching my back, stretching my arms. Ooh, yes. Woo. Good. Just shake it out. I know that felt good. We're going to do it one more time because it feels so good. Inhale, bringing both hands up. When we get to these physical postures and help them to feel good in their bodies, it helps their esteem. It helps them find that doing this is a good place to be. Good, helping kids to stay connected. Awesome. I feel good. I see some smiles on the screen and everything. Let's just pick up one leg. Once again, sitting down or standing, rotate that ankle, rotate that leg. Good. You can have that. Just press your toes into the ground and do the circle with the leg. Good. I think this is a dance from back in the day. If not, we're going to make it. We'll go viral. Good. Then we're going to pick up the other leg, move it around, moving the hips, moving through the legs. Especially with our youth, they sit down all day in front of a computer. They sit down all day in front of a video game. They sit in the car. They sit in the couch. We want to get them moving. We want to get them engaged. We want to get them as healthy as possible. Good. Do me a favor, drop a 1 in the chat if you feel something, even if you feel like you need to go get some water, you need to go get a sandwich or something, just drop it at 1 in the chat if you just feel something. Hopefully you feel good. Good, 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 good. All right, let's just shake it out one more time. Shake it out, shake it out. Nice. All right, so you can keep standing if you want to, or you can sit down once again if you like to as we move to the next slide. I work with kids, so I like to keep them engaged. I like to keep it moving. And I like to keep them constantly being aware of themselves. All right. And one of the biggest tools for me in self-awareness, I still got a long way to go, y'all, but I'm aware of that. One of my biggest tools was being able to breathe. So, how did I get into yoga? How did I get into this mindfulness stuff and all that? I'm a therapist. I'm doing my job. And I feel like what comes with therapy is being burnt out, feeling like I have too many clients, I have too much paperwork, too many notes, too many meetings. But I love my job. Like, this is what I went to school for. This is what I feel like I was purposed for. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is everything. How can I be burnt out? But luckily, I had a supervisor. Now, my supervisor, she was always the person who just had the best advice and was amazing. And it was awesome just to have her. One day, I'm talking to my supervisor and I'm telling her kind of what's going on and everything. And I say, yoga? Yoga? You want me to do yoga? Do you realize black people, especially black men, we don't do yoga? All right, I'll give it a try. I'll try it out. So I'm coming to the yoga studio and what's that smell? Ooh, it's funky in here. It smells like an old football locker that I've been in for the longest. Ugh, just stinking. I'm looking around and I see I am the youngest in here by about 20 years. And I'm the only guy in here. I work out all the time. I'm about to kill this class. It's about to be a breeze. I get on that mat, they're playing a little music, things are soft. I'm like, all right, this is good, okay. And then we start getting into the postures and the poses. And I work my way into that downward facing dog. I start shaking, I start sweating. Woo, my whole body was like, what's going on? But at the end of the class, the relaxing part, the easy part, I was able to breathe. I was able to relax. I was able to be calm and at peace. And I hadn't felt that in a long time. And at that moment, I knew I wanted to share with all my clients, my family, my friends. I wanted to practice and do it for myself. And at that moment, I realized that I found something that I was going to be a part of and was going to be a part of me for the rest of my life. And yes, the physical stuff, the movement was there. Yes, the social of my boss, my supervisor telling me was there. But one of the biggest things that connected me to it was being able to breathe. As I was breathing, I was aware that, wow, I was breathing kind of shallow. I was breathing kind of quick. I was breathing kind of whatever. But me being able to breathe helped me to stay connected and become aware of myself. Self-awareness, as we talk about it, is the ability to understand one's own emotions, thoughts, and values and how they influence behavior. So we're going to do a breathing exercise real quick. Do me a favor once again. Just relax the body, shake out whatever needs to be shaken out. Put that wine glass down for a second. You're just coming to the body. Good. So you can sit comfortable in your seat. I want you to sit up nice and tall. Good. Like you first pew of the church. Let your shoulders fall back and down. And just start to breathe regular, whatever that means for you. And as you breathe, I want you to breathe all the way deep down into your belly. Breathe in through your nose and let it pass through the throat, the lungs, the diaphragm, and fill up the belly. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring it up, that carbon dioxide, that stress, bring it up from the belly, diaphragm to the lungs, throat, and the mouth. So let's take 3 of the deepest breaths we have taken all day. Breathing slowly in through the nose and breathing long and deep through the mouth. On a count of 3, we start. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Breathe all the way down to the belly and slow exhale through the mouth. Take 2 more deep inhale through the nose. Slow, long exhale through the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Slow, long exhale, releasing the shoulders, the chest, relaxing the fingers, the face, the hands, just be still. Just take a second to sit with whatever that breath brought you. Peace, calm, reflection, stress, whatever. Taking a second to sit with that. And as I work with youth who have a lot of energy, a lot of things to pay attention to, one thing I can give them right off the bat is their own breath, to bring them into a sense of awareness. But hey, this is appropriate for this time, or it's not appropriate for this time. I can pause here. I can start to find other ways to behave and move forward. But what's something powerful I can create? How can I focus? How can I execute? How can I produce? How can I press pause for a second to not get in trouble again? Let's take one more deep breath, just because for me it feels good. Shoulders relaxed, belly is soft, body is slowly releasing any tension and stress. As we bring our chest up, the shoulders roll back and down. Let's take a deep inhale here. Breathe in. And a long, slow exhale. Just getting it out, getting it out. I want you to sit with that just for a second as we go to the next slide. And start to build in a little bit of relation. So when we're talking about relationships, especially with the youth, we're talking about the ability to establish and maintain healthy and supportive and effective relationships, even in negative settings. So one of the biggest things that helped me to where I am now is part of my relationships. My brother, Jason White, thank you for creating him, this White. He was a huge part of me feeling secure, feeling engaged, feeling like I can make it through college. Like I said, I was an average student. And then I show up and I have this guy who's my roommate, and he's kind of just moving me along and pushing me along. Like, hey, man, you can do it. Having healthy relationships is huge. How do we build those relationships? What are those relationships on? And how can we help them build relationships that are healthy and engaging in a powerful way? I have a little something for y'all, because a big part of relationships for me are laughter. So if we could drop it in the chat, we're going to drop something in the chat. And hey, Brian, can you do me a favor and read this in the chat for me, please? Read this. You're still there for me, Brian? I think we lost Brian. Nicole, are you still there?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Nicole there? Okay, I can read it. Relationships, love, and laughter. The abilities to establish and maintain healthy and supportive relationships, and to effectively navigate settings with diverse individuals and groups. This includes the capacities to communicate clearly, listen actively, cooperate, work collaboratively, to perform, solve, and negotiate conflict constructively, navigate settings with different social and cultural demands and opportunities, provide leadership, and seek or offer help when needed.
Cool. So thank you, Nicole. Nicole, we come from a similar culture because we graduated from the same high school. Cool. Allison, if you could drop the first joke in there for me, please. So Tamara Page, are you there, Tamara?
Yes, I'm here. It's Tamara.
Tamara, hey, how you doing? Good to speak to you.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So we just dropped a quote thing in the chat. Can you read that for me, please?
Okay. Where am I? Okay. For the 10th year in a row, my coworkers voted me the most secretive guy in the office. I can't tell you how much this award means to me.
All right. So I like dad jokes. And that's a horrible, corny dad joke. So we got a little bit of laugh. All right, cool. Another one. When we're talking about building relationships, we're talking about the things we laugh about, the things we connect with, the things we really hold to build healthy relationships with. So we're gonna drop another joke in the chat, and here, Alejandro, if you could read that for me, please, if you're still there.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Of all the intentions of the last 100 years, the dry erase board has to be the most remarkable.
Yeah, thank you. We got one more joke. Thank you, Alejandro. Appreciate it. Who else is there? Brian, are you still there? I can't see the screen. Miss White, if you can read this last joke for me, please.
I can't see it.
Okay. It's coming in the chat.
Okay, now you know I'm technically challenged.
Okay, it's perfect. Is it already in the chat, Allison? Okay, so it's coming. One more. But it's about jokes. It's about really connecting and really having a space for people to express themselves. Hey, what's going on, Brian? And being able to connect them with love and laughter. So when we're talking about social emotional learning, we're talking about building safe places for them to have. All right, I took my 8-year-old to the office on Take Your Kid to Work Day. As we were walking around, she began to cry and sob and look worried and anxious. I said, baby, what's wrong? She said, Daddy, what happened to all the clowns that you told me you worked with? All right. So I always incorporate jokes and laughter and stuff to whatever I do. But it really is about, thank you for the LOL. Thank you. I appreciate that, Norma. So it's all about building and creating safe spaces. So in SEL, we systemically do that. We create places for the youth to express themselves. We create places for the youth to laugh, to connect, to build onto what each other has in common, and use that as a tool to build safe spaces for themselves within the classroom, within online, within the spaces that they meet and connected. So we always are working on building love and laughter and connection with each other. So we can go to the next slide. We're going to talk a little bit more about responsible decision making. All right, now this is really powerful to me. I'm gonna, Julius Van, if you're still there for me, can you do me a favor and hop on and read the sentence about the abilities to make caring and constructive choices? Hope I'm saying your name right, Julius Van. Cool.
Yeah, Van Hook. Yes, it said it will be in the chat.
No, the paragraph right there, responsible decision.
There we go. Okay. Responsible decision making. The abilities to make caring and constructive choices about personal behavior and social interactions across diverse situations. This includes capacities to consider ethical standards and safety concerns, and to evaluate the benefits and consequences of various actions for personal, social, and collective well-being.
Thank you, Julius. You was that kid who raised your hand quick to the reading class, brother. That was a good reading voice. I love it. All right, so this is a tweet. Social media, once again, we go in there. One rapper, B. Roy, and he's talking about who want clout. So clout, if you don't know, is who want respect, who want the juice, who want all this whatever. Brothers dissing Bond, is he saying, y'all dissing me in a song, and I'm gonna kill you, basically. He's a rapper, and he's spitting a rap line like, yo, y'all keep dissing me, whatever, because you want respect, you want your name to be blown up. I'm a big star. You trying to come at me, I'm gonna come at you with violence. And then another rapper is like, yo, go meditate, Bond. This guy named NLE Choppa, a violent name, but he's like, yo, go meditate, man. Think about that. Reflect on that. And sadly, in 2020, King Bond, B. Roy, was gunned down. So it's one of those tragic deaths of a young star who was building on his career. And a lot of his career was built on the violence. He came from a disadvantaged neighborhood in Chicago, and he was making music and getting himself and his family out of a violent situation. And the other young man was telling them, hey man, it might be a better decision to go meditate instead of instigating violence or, you know, retaliating with more violence. How about you possibly go meditate? So when we're talking about making better decisions, we're talking about problem solving, when we're talking about addressing issues in a way that is positive, that can be life-threatening for some of our students. They can be life-changing. And sadly, it was this for this young man. Now, I'm not saying that him sitting down and meditating for a while would help and it's going to cure everything and all that, but it's a different tool to have in his belt to make decisions. And the other young rapper started to realize that. Someone got into this other young rapper in LE Choppa that there are different tools that you can use. There are very different strategies and techniques that you can use besides what we only know, which is violence, aggression, not expressing our emotions, drugs. There's different things that we can do to make decisions. So as we go to the next slide, I just want to talk about what all this means. So we talked about the BLM, breathing, laughing, meditation, physical postures, the yoga movement, being mindfulness. And how do we implement this into our youth programs, into our schools, into our after school programs, into our churches, into our organizations? Well, that's where the peace comes in. Oh, I wish the youth who were slain had some sort of peace in their life. I wish the youth who are still suffering have some sort of peace in their life. But when we're talking about here, peacefulness is what we do with the Feel Free to Feel Free program. I left the E off, wow. Planning. So when we talk about planning, it's about consulting with the organizations to make sure whatever SEL or social emotional work that they're doing, we can be a part of it. We can be incorporated and integrate the work that we're doing. How can our social emotional wellness techniques and skills be a part of what you're already doing? Equip. How can we train you? Because you're going to need to be trained in what we're doing to make this a part of your school system, to make this a part of the work that you're doing. We need to train you. We need to provide you with some skills that you can have to carry this work out. Access. After you get the training, after you do the consulting, we did all the paperwork, the talking, it's time to create access. It's time to make sure the students have these tools at their hands. How do we get in front of the kids? How do we interact with the kids? How do we make that happen? We must create access. I've seen a lot of curriculums, a lot of programs in the offices of principals where the students never really get to engage in them. It's a good idea, it sounds awesome. We went to the training, we're all hyped up, but the kids don't have access to it. We have to make sure access to the programming is a step. Consistency. Now that we're doing it, we have to keep doing it because these are skills and techniques that build up over time and that generate the practices that we want and the results that we want. And then of course, evaluate. It's nothing without the data, of course. We need to see that what we're doing is working, not just for the school, but for the students, for the parents, for the whole community. When we're talking about SEL, social emotional learning, we're talking about creating communities of peace, communities of wellness, communities of freedom, helping not only the students to feel free, but everybody that interacts with the students. Imagine instead of yelling at a student because they picked up the trash, we all just chill out, take a breath, I know what's going on, interact, let the young man, the young lady know what's going on to make a difference, make a change, so we can make a better decision. So we're going to take a second to drop into one of my favorite activities to make better decisions and to create a little sense of peace within myself. As we go to the next slide, we're going to jump into a mindfulness meditation. Now, this is actually a drawing of the rapper that told the other rapper to go meditate. He is an advocate for meditation and wellness, which is sometimes can be a counter image of what rappers usually look like, but he's like, yo, this is something working for me. So with tattoos, with wild this and wild that, we still need to take care of ourselves inside and out. So I want y'all to do me a favor once again, please. Find that comfortable seat, that comfortable space within your body as well as within your mind. I want you to find that comfortable breath. the one that you don't have to work too hard for, the one that makes you feel at ease. As you start to find that comfortable breath, just soften the body. The shoulders just fall away from the ears. The belly relaxes. The chin is just slightly tucked towards the chest. Feel that stretch in the back of the neck as the spine is long. And we relax the body deeply with every inhale and exhale. Whether you have shoes on or off, I want you to relax your toes. And feel that relaxation move into the bottom and the tops of your feet. Relax the heels. You're no longer working on your feet all day, or relaxing your ankles. Let that relaxation move up and spiral around your shins and into your calves, releasing any tightness or tension. Let the kneecaps and the back of the knees feel loose as the legs are relaxed and supported in the chair. Allow the hips to just feel open, no tightness. Let that release move up into your lower back. Your belly is soft. Your ribs are relaxed as you breathe in and out of your lungs, and feel your heart start to slow down, relax. Feel your collarbone just release as the shoulders slump down. Moving the relaxation into your arms, elbows, wrists, hands, and fingers. A deep inhale, and a long exhale as you relax the muscles in your throat with a swallow and release the neck, the back of the neck. Unclench the jaw, no grinding, no more tension, and soften to the lips, nose, and let the eyes be comfortable behind the lids. The eyebrows are soft, smoothing out your forehead. And breathe deeply and release gently as you relax the temples along the sides of your skull. No more tension. The back of the skull, the crown of the skull, your mind, your entire body. Relax, release, and calm. Slowly start to come back wherever you went, rolling out the hand, fingers and the wrist, moving the feet and the toes around, moving the shoulders, just kind of moving the body around, coming back. Just taking a second to check in with how you feel. Notice the thoughts that ran through your mind and notice where you are now, and just take a second to notice. And be present with that mindfulness meditation. Giving youth the opportunity to be aware of themselves, others, and their ability to make decisions is a powerful tool that we share in this SEL practice. And as we go to the next slide, just want to check in with you all and see where you're feeling now. What is your current level of stress? If you can go back to the Mentimeter, I'm sorry if I have to bring you back, but just let me know. What are you feeling